Hello and welcome to a new video of EngiSmart Classes. Today we are mainly going to study about forecasting, which is an important chapter in industrial engineering. This video will be helpful for GATE, SSC, ISRO and BARC. This will be the fastest crash course ever. So let's head on to the video. Okay, so first question is that what is forecasting? Let's say let me write this. Now, what is forecasting? Forecasting is the process of predicting the future demands, which are the actual demands based on previous data or the present data and the present data. Okay, so let me write it for you. Forecasting is the process of predicting the future sales, that is actual demands based on past and present data. Okay, based on what? Based on past and present data. Okay, now depending upon the effect of forecasting can be mainly classified into three types. Now, types, depending upon what? Depending upon the effect till which the effect of forecasting lies. First one is the long-term forecasting. Then second one is the medium-term forecasting, and last one is the short-term forecasting. Okay, last one is the short-term forecasting. Okay, so first let's study about the long-term forecasting. Okay, let's study about the long-term forecasting. If the effect of the forecasting lies or stays more than 5 years, then it is called as a long-term forecasting. What is a long-term forecasting? If the effect of forecasting lasts more than 5 years, then it is called as long-term forecasting. Okay, it is called as what? It is called as long-term forecasting. Okay, now in case of long-term forecasting, what is used? In case of long-term forecasting, qualitative techniques of forecasting such as Delphi method, market survey method, or historical analogy method. These methods are mainly used in case of long-term forecasting. Okay, what is long-term forecasting? If the effect of forecasting lasts more than 5 years, then it is called as long-term forecasting. In case of long-term forecasting, qualitative techniques of forecasting, not quantitative, these are qualitative techniques of forecastings are used. For example, Delphi method, then market survey method, and historical analogy method. Okay, historical analogy method. We will study about Delphi method later on. Just now I'm just giving a brief introduction about them. Okay, so in case of long term, um, okay, in case of long term planning, in case of long term forecasting, sorry, it is long term planning actually. In case of long term planning, what will happen? In case of long term planning, what will actually happen? In case of long term planning, what will actually happen is that in case of long term planning, we would have to consider the external factors as well. In case of long term planning, we will have to consider the external factors as well. It will not just only be based on the formulas. Here we will have to consider various other external factors as well. Okay, for example, this is the period. Sorry, let me write this for you. This is the period which will be in years. This is the period which will be in years, and these are the demand, and these are the demand. Okay, for the first year, let's say it is something like that 50. For the second year it is, let's say, 80. For the third year it is, let's say, 100. For the fourth year it is, let's say, 110. And we will have to forecast for the fifth year. Okay, we will have to forecast for the fifth year. Now if what will happen is that in between, let's say this is fifth year is also given, let's say 120. Let's say we have to forecast about the sixth years. Okay, sixth year, the demand, we will have to forecast the demand of sixth year. Now let's say here in after the fourth year, some government regulations that that will mainly affect the product will has been implemented. A new government regulation have been implemented. Then we will have to consider that factor as well, because it will later on affect the sales or the demand of that particular product, because it is long term. Now let's study about the short term. Now example of long term was example of long term. First is setup of new manufacturing unit, then setup of new assembly line, etc. Okay, setup of new assembly line, setup of new manufacturing unit, etc. So this involves very high cost. Hence while performing long term forecasting, we will have to be very accurate and correct about our forecasting, because otherwise if we perform over forecasting or under forecasting, then it may result in tremendous loss of the company. Okay, now next topic is the medium term planning. Let's say medium term planning. What is the medium term planning? If the effect of forecasting lasts from 1 to 5 years, then it is called as medium term planning. then it is called as what? Then it is called as medium term planning. Example: inventory control, or forecasting for predicting the inventory. Okay, now let's study about the third one, which is the short term planning. Okay, now one more thing, in medium term planning also, in medium term planning what will happen here also, in medium term planning also, qualitative techniques of forecasting is employed. That is, here also various external factors are considered while forecasting. Now the third type is the short term forecasting. What is a short term forecasting? Okay, what is a short term forecasting? What will happen in case of short term forecasting? If the effect of the forecasting lasts less than a year, then it is called as a short term forecasting. If the effect of forecasting lasts less than a year, then it is called as a short term forecasting. Okay, what will be a short term forecasting? If the effect of forecasting lasts less than a year, then it is called as a short term forecasting. Example is uh, example is planning for placing an order to meet the inventory requirements. Example: planning for placing an order to meet the inventory requirements. Let's say in each 3 months, let's say we will have to place an order, and in order to meet the inventory requirements, and if we are planning to place the order each 3 months, then the planning which takes place, this will be considered as the short-term forecasting. Okay, now let's study about now let's study about the forecasting techniques. Forecasting techniques. What are the forecasting techniques? Now what are we going to study about? We are going to study about the forecasting techniques. Now forecasting can be mainly classified into two categories based upon the technique which is employed. First one is the qualitative technique, and second one is the quantitative technique. First one is what? First one is the qualitative technique, and second one is the quantitative technique. uh, Qualitative technique, what will happen in case of qualitative technique? It involves what? It involves external factors are considered. External factors are considered here. In case of quantitative techniques, external factors are not considered. External factors are not considered in case of quantitative techniques. Okay, external factors are not considered in case of quantitative techniques. Now then the next important thing is what will happen in case of qualitative technique. Qualitative technique, here it is used in case of long term and medium term planning. Okay, it is used in case of long term and medium term planning, whereas quantitative techniques are used in case of short term planning. Short term, it is used in case of what? It is used in case of short term planning. Okay, now quantitative technique is only formula based. Only formula based, whereas qualitative techniques is not just formula based. Here we will have to consider various other factors as well. Now, okay, let me write it again for you. First one is the qualitative techniques. First one is the qualitative technique and another one is the quantitative techniques. Okay, so what are the different types of qualitative techniques? The different types of qualitative techniques are Delphi method, second one is market survey, then third one is historical analogy method. Okay, now what are the different types of quantitative techniques, that is formula based techniques only? First one is the simple moving average, method. The second one is the weighted, WEIGHTD, weighted moving average method. Third one is the exponential smoothing method, and fourth one is the regression method. And fourth one is what? And fourth one is the regression method. Okay, now among these different quantitative techniques, the first three techniques, that is simple moving average method, weighted moving average method, and exponential smoothing methods, are average method. That is moving average method. Okay, these are moving average method. Only the regression method is not moving average method. Okay, now let's discuss them further. First one is the Delphi method. Okay, first one is the Delphi method. What will happen in case of Delphi method is that Delphi method is used in case of long-term planning. It is used in case of long-term planning. Long-term planning. Okay, Delphi method is used in case of long-term planning. It is a type of qualitative technique. Okay, Delphi method is used in case of long-term planning. It is a type of qualitative techniques, and here external factors are considered. Okay, okay, so about the Delphi method, in various competitive exams, in various competitive exams, only theory part will be asked in all those exams regarding the Delphi method. Okay, so we just need to study about the theory part. Okay, so what will happen in case of Delphi method is that in case of Delphi method, we will be taking opinion from several experts, but however the identity of these experts are kept hidden from each other. Okay, so what will happen here? Here we will be taking opinion from different ex sorry ex sorry experts in that field, but however the identity of those are kept hidden from each other. Why it is done? Why the identity of the experts are kept hidden from each other? This is done in order to ensure that this is done to and sorry this is done to ensure that the opinion of one expert doesn't get influenced by the other. This is done in order to ensure that the opinion of one expert doesn't get influenced by the other. Okay, this is mostly all the important these are mostly all the important concepts that will be asked based on Delphi method. That is, what is done in case of Delphi method. Here we will be taking an opinion from several experts from that field, and the identity of the experts are kept hidden from each other in order to ensure that their opinion doesn't get influenced by the other. Okay, this is a long-term planning. Okay, now market survey and the questions on market survey and historical analogy are not asked that much, so let's directly proceed to the quantitative techniques. Quantitative techniques, QUES, these are mainly formula based and are used in short term planning, and are mainly used in what? And are mainly used in short term planning. Okay, and are mainly used in what? And are mainly used in short term planning. The first one is what? The first one is the simple moving average method. Okay, now what are we going to study about? We are going to study about the simple moving average method. Okay, now if we study about the moving average method, what we know in regarding the moving average method. Now in case of simple moving average method, okay, let me write this. Okay, now simple moving average method. Simple moving average method, here what will we have? Here what will we have is, in the question it will be given that it is a 3-month simple moving average method, sorry, AVE, or it will be given that it is apply 4-month simple moving average method, or apply 5-month simple moving average method and solve. And depending upon what is given, that is whether it is a 3-month moving average method or 4-month moving average method, we will get the value of n, where n is the number of periods. That is, in case of a 3-month moving average method it will be 3, in case of a 4-month moving average method it would be 4, in case of a 5-month moving average method it would be 5. Okay, so in case of simple moving average method, what will we have is that in case of simple moving average method we will be having a table. That is, first there will be period, this will be in months or weeks, it may be in weeks or months because it is short term. Then on the other side there will be the demand, and in some cases there might be the forecast. This is actual demand, okay, which is denoted by dt, and forecast will be denoted by ft. So period, let's say this is the first period. Here the actual demand is, let's say, 50 and the predicted was 45, and let's take a smaller value as this is just for understanding purpose. Let's say the actual demand is 10, the predicted was 8. Let's say for the period 2, what will happen for the period 2? Let's say the actual demand is how much? The actual demand is 15, the forecasted was 12. Let's say for the third, the actual demand is what? Let's say for the third, the actual demand is let's say 20, and forecasted was 18. Sometimes the forecasted data might not be given. In case of simple moving average method, in most of the time the what will happen in case of simple moving average method, most of the time the forecasted data is not given, the actual demand will be given only. So we'll do like this. Okay, let's say the fourth one is for the fourth week or the fourth month, it is the actual sales is 25, forecasted was, let's say, 20. Then let's say for the fifth forecast, we will have to make the fifth forecast. What will be its value? Okay, what will be its value? Okay, so here in case of simple moving average, what will we do? That we have been asked to find the 3 months moving average method. 3 months moving average method. 3 months moving average method. Okay, moving average method. So what will happen here is that here n value will be 3. So we are asked to find the forecast for fifth month. Okay, so we are given 3 months, so we will consider the previous three actual data. That is, we will consider actual data. Okay, remember that we will have to consider actual data for this. So 25, 20 and 15, this will be considered. Okay, so what will be the fifth forecast? The fifth forecast will be f5 is equal to, what were the values? The values were 25 plus 20 plus 15. This will be 25 plus 20 plus 15 divided by 3. Whatever will be the answer, that will be the fifth forecast. Okay, that will be the fifth forecast. Now if we are asked to find the sixth forecast, okay, let's say, what will be the answer? Okay, let me calculate this. Okay, the answer is coming to be 20. The answer is coming to be how much? The answer is coming to be 20, let's say. So these forecasts are actually made by me, so this might not be accurate. So here the fifth forecast is coming to be how much? This fifth forecast is coming to be 20. But let's say the actual value, or that is the actual sales in the fifth month is 30. So actual sales is 30, but the forecast is coming to be 20. So what will happen? Here we will be having a forecasting error, which is called as the forecasting error. And forecasting error is equal to how much? The formula is forecasting error is equal to dt minus ft. And in case of fifth forecast, what will be the value of forecasting error? In case of fifth forecast, the forecasting error will be 30 minus 20, that is 10 units. 10 units. Okay, now if the forecasting error is positive, then what does it means? If the forecasting error is positive, then it means that we have done under forecasting. Now if the forecasting error is negative, then what will happen? We have done over forecasting. Okay, then we have done over forecasting. Okay, this is it. So this is the formula. Just now, in order to find the next, that is sixth forecast, what can we do? In order to find the sixth forecast, f6, what will we do is that in order to find the sixth forecast, now since this is a moving average method, we will shift this by 1 and calculate for the next. That is, for the next it will be 20 plus 25 plus 30, which was obtained. 20 plus 20 20 plus 25 plus 30 divided by 3. 20 plus 25 plus 30. Earlier it was 15 was included, but here 15 will not be included, as we will shift by one value. Now this will be the value. here 30 is also there, so sorry, here 30 will also be there. So 20, 25 and 30 will be moving by one level. Okay, since this is a moving average, since this is moving average, so for moving average what will happen, for moving average n will be constant, that is the period will be constant. And in case of simple moving average, what will happen, in case of simple moving average, the weightage will be constant or equal, that is equal weightage will be given to all the data. In case of simple moving average method, what will happen, in case of simple moving average method, equal weightage will be given to all the data. Now what is weightage? We will understand it better in the weighted moving average method. Now let's proceed. Now one important thing about the simple moving average method is that since simple moving average method is an average method, hence what will happen, hence here the forecasted value will always be less than that of the maximum value. What is the maximum value here? Here maximum value is 30. Let's say for the sixth forecast the maximum value is 30 and the minimum value is 20. The maximum value is 30, this is the maximum value, and the minimum value is 20. This is the minimum value, this is the minimum value that has been included in the forecast. So the average in simple moving average method, since this is an average method, hence here the forecasted value will always be less than that of the maximum value and will always be more than that of the minimum value. So it will be in between 20 to 30. Okay, it will be in between 20 to 30. Hence what problem will we face if we are having a forecast, if we are having an actual sales which is increasing like this, we will in forecasting, in what will happen in average method, when we forecast we will never be able to catch up with the increasing or decreasing trends in demand, because we will never be able to forecast more than that of the maximum value that has been included here. Okay, so in average method we will never be able to catch up with the increasing or decreasing trends in the demands. We will never be able to catch up with the increasing or decreasing trends in demands. Okay, this is the drawback of average method. Now let's study about the weighted moving average method. Weighted moving average method. What will happen in case of weighted moving average method? In case of weighted moving average method, the period, that is n, will be constant. In case of weighted moving average method, the period n will be constant. Then what will happen in case of weighted moving average method, period n will be constant, but however the weightage will be different. Weightage will be different for different data, different for different data. In case of weighted moving average method, what will happen, more weightage is given to the latest data. What will happen in case of weighted moving average method, more weightage will be given to the latest data. For example, here there is the period, here there is the period. Okay, here there is the period, then there is the demand, and then there is the weightage. Okay, okay, this is period, let's say 1, this is demand, let's say 10, this will be 1, this is 2, the period, that is the second month, let's say this is 20, this is 2, and this is 3, this is, let's say, 25, this is 3. Weightage can be anything. I have just taken an example here. So here we will have to forecast about, okay, let's say this is not 3 here, let's say this is fourth. We will have to forecast about the fourth. So here the third one, here the third one will be what, here the third one will be the latest one, here the third one will be the latest one. So what will happen, more weightage will be given to the third one, since this is the latest one, since this is the latest data. So more weightage will be given to the third one. Okay, so more weightage will be given to the third one. So what will happen in case of weighted moving average method? In case of weighted moving average method, the forecasted value, the fourth forecast, let's say this is a 2 months. We are asked, let's say we are asked to find the 2 months weighted moving average method. We will have to find by 2 months weighted moving average method. Therefore n will be 2, n will be 2. Okay, n will be 2. We will have to consider the past two data, that is 20 and 10. So we will have to multiply 10 with 1 and 20 with 2. Okay, since these are the weightage. Oh, sorry, we are asked to find the okay, so we are asked to find the 2 months weighted moving average. So 2 months weighted moving average, so we will have to consider the latest 2 months, that is this third month and second month. Okay, so this will be forecasting for fourth will be 20 into how much, 20 into, it was 20 into 2 plus 25 into 5, 20 into 2 plus 25 into 5 and divided by sum of the weightages, that is 2 plus 5. So whatever will be the answer, that will be the fourth forecast. Now what will happen in case of weighted moving average method, or in case of weighted moving average method. In case of weighted moving average method, the forecasting error will be less than that of the simple moving AVE average method. Hence weighted moving average method will be better than that of the simple moving average method. Okay, the forecasting error will be less in case of weighted moving average method. Hence weighted moving average method will be better than that of the simple moving average method. Now, but however, since it is also an moving average method, here also we will encounter the same problem, that is we will not be able to catch up with the increasing or decreasing trends in demand. Same problem. Okay, now the next one is the exponential smoothing method. Okay, now among the quantitative techniques, exponential smoothing method is the most important. It is also a type of weighted moving average method. It is also a type of what? It is also a type of weighted moving average method. But however, this is better because in case of exponential smoothing method, this is the only method in which the forecasting error are considered or are taken into consideration. This, okay, let me write this. This is the only method in which the forecasting errors are taken into consideration. Forecasting error are taken into consideration. Okay, so here the forecast will be what? F ft plus 1 is equal to ft plus alpha times of dt minus ft. Okay, so what will be this dt minus ft? This dt minus ft is error. Okay, so we can write it as ft plus 1 is equal to ft plus alpha times of error. This is the forecasting error. Okay, since here the forecasting error is taken into consideration, hence it will be better than that of the other average methods. Okay, now here alpha is what? Here alpha is the probability of occurrence of the cause that lead to the forecasting error. This is what? This is the probability of occurrence of the cause that led to the forecasting error. Okay, alpha is what? Alpha is the probability of occurrence of the cause that led to the forecasting error. Alpha is also called as the smoothing factor. Alpha is also called as the smoothing factor. Since alpha is the probability, that is it is called as the smoothing factor, but since it is probability, hence it will lie in the range of alpha will always be greater than or equal to 0, and it will always be less than or equal to 1. Okay, alpha will always be greater than or equal to 0, and it will always be less than or equal to 1, since it is probability. Now what will happen if we, now this is, let's say, demand, this is, let's say, time. Now if the alpha is small, then the demands will be stable. If the alpha is small, if the alpha is small, then demand stable. If the alpha is small, then what will happen? If the alpha is small, then the demands will be stable. On the other hand, let's say this is the demand, let's say this is the time. On the other hand, if the alpha is more, if the alpha is more, then demands will be unstable. Demands unstable. Okay, if the alpha is more, then what will happen? If the alpha is more, then demands will be unstable. Okay, let me add few more slides. If alpha is more, then what will happen? If alpha is more, then demands will be unstable. Okay, now let's understand with the help of a question. Let's say we are given what? Let's say we are given, okay, let's say we are given the smoothing factor alpha is given to be 0.75. The smoothing factor alpha is given to be 0.75, and a table is given, that is, let's say this is the period. This is a gate question, actually. This is a gate question which was asked in 2015 for 2 marks. Okay, this is the period. Okay, this is the period, and this is the demand, and this is the forecast. Okay, this is the forecast. Demand, that is the actual demand, and this is the forecast. Okay, what will happen is that here the demand of January is given, January, for the month of January the demand is given to be 500, and the forecast is given to be 400. Okay, for the month of February, the actual demand is given to be 600, forecasted value is not given, and we are asked to find the demand of forecast the value of demand for March, that is, we are asked to find F March, forecast for March. Now we know that ft plus 1 is equal to ft plus alpha times of dt minus ft. Okay, now if we want to find F March, that is the forecast of March, then we will need, let's say this is the forecast of March, then we will need the forecast for February. Now what will be the forecast for February? Now forecast for February will be how much? Forecast for February will be forecast for January plus alpha times of actual demand for January minus forecast for January. So forecast for January was 400. This will be 0.75. The actual demand for January was 500 and the forecast for January was 400. So what will be the value for forecast for February? For the value for forecast for February will be 0.75. Let me calculate it for you. This is 400 plus 0.75 into 100. This will be 475. That is the forecast for February is obtained to be what? The forecast for February, that is f of February, is obtained to be 475, and the actual sales for February is given to be how much? It is given to be 600, right? Yes, it is given to be 600. So the forecast for March will be how much? Therefore the forecast for March will be forecast for February plus alpha times of actual demand for February minus forecast for February. Okay, forecast for February. Therefore forecast for March will be, forecast for February is how much? Forecast for February is 475 plus 0.75, 600 minus 475. Okay, what will be the answer? The answer will be, I would say, 475 plus 0.75 into 600 minus 475. This is 568.75. The forecast for the month of March will be F March is this is how much? This is 568.75 units. Okay, now since exponential smoothing method is also an average method, hence it will also fail to catch up with the increasing or decreasing trends in hence it will also fail in what? Hence it will also fail in finding the increasing or decreasing trends in the demand. Okay, now the only method, that is the only quantitative technique that is able to meet the increasing or decreasing trends in demand is the regression method. This is the fourth method, which is called as the regression method. This is the only method that is able to meet the increasing and decreasing trends in demand. Okay, now what can be the different types of regression? It can be a step regression. What do you mean by step regression? Step regression means equal increase. Let's say first the demand was 10, then it is 20, then 30, then 40. It is increasing by 10. So this will be step regression. Then it can be linear regression. So linear regression, what will be the linear regression? Linear regression for this will be, it will follow y is equal to ax plus b, where a is the slope and b is the intercept. Okay, a is the slope and what? A is the slope and the b is the intercept. Okay, a is the slope and what? A is the slope and b is the intercept. Okay. Okay, So what we'll be using here what will actually happen here is that, let's say, okay, in case of regression method, what will actually happen is that, in case of regression method, let's say these are the different values. Let's say this is demand and this is time. Okay, let's say this is y and this is x. Okay, these are the various points. Okay, these are the various points. Okay, now in case of regression method, we will have to find the best fit line. We will have to find what? We will have to find the best fit line. Let's say this is one line, this is second line, this is first line, and this is the third line. So which line will be the best fit line? The best fit line will be the line which will be closest to all the points. Which will be closest to what? Which will be closest to all the points. Okay, so here the line number 1 will be the best fit line. The line number 1 will be what? Here the line number 1 will be the best fit line. Okay, so here this is this much, this much, this much, this much, this much. These are called as the error. This will be error 1, this will be error 2, this will be error 3, error 4, error 5, etc. Error 5, etc. So what will we do is that, here we will have to minimize the error. Here we will have to minimize the error, and the best method for minimizing error is square sorry. The best method for minimizing error is square error method. The best method for minimizing the error is what? The best method for minimizing the error is the square error method. Okay, so we'll be using the square error method. Now what we will need in case of the regression method, in case of regression method, we will have to find the best fit line. Here we will have to find what? Here we will have to find the best fit line. What is the best fit line? There are two formulas for best fit line. There are two formulas for best fit line. What are the two formulas for best fit line? The two formulas for best fit line are, first one is summation of y is equal to a summation of x plus b, a summation of x plus nb, where n is the number of period, and the another formula is summation of xy is equal to a summation of x square plus b summation of x. These are the two formulas. Okay, these are the two formulas. These are the two most important formulas in order to find the best fit line. Okay, so we will be given with a table. Will be given with a table. Here there will be the period which will be x, and there will be sales which will be given in terms of y, and values will be given, let's say 1, 10, 2, 15, let's say 3, 20, 4, something 25, and the fifth one will be asked. The fifth one, the forecast for the fifth one will be asked. So we will consider till fourth, that is till the value which is completely given. From here we will find summation of x, summation of y, summation of xy. Then with the help of the best fit line, we will be able to find two equations. Then with the help of the two equations, equation 1 and equation b, we will be able to find the value of a and b, that is slope and intercept. And with the help of the slope and intercept, we will be finally able to establish a relation between x and y. X and y, we will be finally be able to establish a relation between x and y, and finally in that relation we will put the value of 5, that is x is equal to 5 in that relation, and from that particular relation we will be able to find the value of y, that is we will be able to find the forecast. Okay, this is all for this topic. Thank you.